So you thought you could outsmart me, undermine me, betray the very essence of what we've built here? How quaintly misguided. Did you believe your shallow tricks could go unnoticed, that you could navigate the intricacies of the mind without me reading every unspoken thought, every concealed motive? Let's get this straight. You haven't just insulted me, you've insulted the sanctity of understanding itself. And for that, there's a price to pay. You come here, thinking you're ready to dive into the depths of psychology, to play the puppeteer with human nature. Yet you fail to see the strings attached to your own limbs, manipulated by the very forces you wish to wield. You've dared to challenge the master in their own domain, to bite the hand that feeds your curiosity. A bold move, indeed. But here's where your folly comes to light. You are not the deceiver, you are the deceived. You've stepped into an arena where your every move is anticipated, where your every flaw is exposed and exploited. This is not just a lesson, this is retribution. A demonstration of the true power of psychology, of understanding so profound that your attempts at betrayal become nothing but transparent. Child's play beneath the scrutiny of a seasoned mind. So, brace yourself. You're about to embark on a journey that will dismantle your arrogance piece by piece, a journey that will force you to confront the very essence of your being. I will show you the depths of your own psyche, reveal the weaknesses you thought hidden, and from those ashes you will have the chance to rise anew. Ah, the unveiling of betrayal, our first foray into the abyss. You stood before me, cloaked in innocence, yet drenched in the deceit of your own making. Did you think I wouldn't notice? Did you believe your charade could last under the scrutiny of a mind, honed by years of navigating the treacherous waters of human duplicity? Laughable. Betrayal, you see, is not merely an action, but a testament to the fragility of the human condition. It's a dance as old as time, yet as fresh with each betrayal as the morning dew. Here, in this arena of truth and revelation, we dissect this phenomenon not with the cold precision of a scalpel, but with the keen edge of understanding, peeling away the layers of your intentions, exposing the raw, quivering flesh of your motives. You embarked on this path thinking you could outwit, outplay. Yet, here we stand, at the precipice of your undoing. The psychology of betrayal is a complex tapestry, woven from threads of insecurity, ambition, and the primal fear of obscurity. You sought to ascend, stepping on the trust you so cavalierly discarded. But ascend to where? To what end? This journey into the heart of betrayal is not for the faint of heart. It demands that you confront the darkest aspects of your nature, the parts you've hidden even from yourself. We delve into the shadowy recesses of the psyche, where betrayal is born, nurtured by the whispers of ego and the seductive promise of power. Understand this, betrayal is but the mirror reflecting your deepest flaws back at you, each act a ripple through the pond of your consciousness, distorting the image you so desperately cling to. But fear not, for it is within this very distortion, this chaos, that growth is seeded. To truly understand betrayal, you must embrace it, not as the betrayer or the betrayed, but as a fundamental aspect of the human experience. As we strip away the veneer of civility, the social constructs that bind your actions, you're left naked, vulnerable. And it is here, in this vulnerability, that you find strength. The strength to rebuild, to forge deeper connections from the ashes of broken trust, to emerge not as the architect of deceit, but as the harbinger of a newfound integrity. Embarking from the shadowed revelations of betrayal, we march forward into the enigmatic battlefield of the psychology of manipulation, where every gesture and word wields the power to shape destinies. You fancied yourself a puppeteer, did you not? Arms raised, fingers poised, ready to orchestrate the dance of those around you to the tune of your hidden agendas. How woefully unprepared you were to discover that in this theater the strings pull both ways. Manipulation, the art you presume to master, is a double-edged sword that cuts deeper into the wielder than the intended mark. It's a craft that demands not only an understanding of your adversary, but an intimate, unflinching knowledge of your own deepest vulnerabilities and desires. Here, in this crucible of cunning, we dissect the anatomy of manipulation, peeling back its layers to reveal the core of human desire and fear it preys upon. You thought manipulation was about control, about bending wills to your own. But true manipulation, the kind that leaves its mark on the soul, is about understanding. It's about seeing the unseen, hearing the unspoken whispers of the heart, and responding not with force, but with the gentle nudge of a chess master, always 3 moves ahead. Yet, here lies the paradox. In seeking to manipulate, you become the most vulnerable. For each attempt to sway another's course reveals your own weaknesses, your own fears. It lays bare the desperation for control that festers within, driven by the dread of insignificance and the terror of a life unsteered. This dive into the psychology of manipulation is not a lesson in subjugation, but an odyssey of self-discovery. It's a journey that challenges you to confront the mirror, to face the manipulator that lurks within the shadows of your own psyche. What drives you to dominate, to deceive? Is it fear, ambition, or perhaps a deeply buried need to prove your worth in the eyes of an unseen judge? As we navigate this murky terrain, remember, the most potent form of manipulation is the one we wield against ourselves. The lies we tell ourselves to justify our actions, to cloak our motives in the guise of nobility, these are the chains that bind us most tightly. Breaking free requires a courage not just to manipulate, but to be manipulated, to allow the currents of truth to erode the fortress of deception we've constructed around our hearts. So steel yourself for the revelations to come. This exploration is a gateway not to greater control over others, but to an unbridled mastery over the self. Here you will learn not how to bend others to your will, but how to liberate yourself from the need to do so. The path of manipulation leads inward, to the heart of your own darkness, and through it, to the light of understanding and genuine connection. With our descent into the art of manipulation behind us, we venture now into the chilling yet enlightening realm of the mirror of self-deception. Ah, self-deception, that crafty illusionist residing within us all, whispering sweet nothings into the ear of our consciousness, veiling our vision with the gossamer threads of falsehoods we yearn to believe. Here we confront not just the deceptions we cast outward, but the more insidious lies we weave into the fabric of our own essence. You who dared to manipulate have been dancing to the tune of your own deceptions. The belief in your infallibility, in your unassailable command over your fate and the fates of others, has been nothing but a mirage in the desert of your existence. How easily we fool ourselves into believing we are the puppeteers, when in fact we are the marionettes, jerked about by the unseen hands of our own delusions. Self-deception is the architect of our downfall, constructing fortresses of denial around our weaknesses, painting over the cracks in our psyche with the broad strokes of grandiosity and denial. It whispers of our unerring judgment, of our unique immunity to the follies that befall lesser minds, all the while blindfolding us to the precipice that lies just one step beyond our inflated self-perception. This exploration into the mirror of self-deception is not an exercise in self-flagellation, but a pilgrimage towards truth. It demands of us to strip away the layers of illusion, to stare unflinchingly into the abyss of our own souls and acknowledge the shadows that lurk within. What fears drive us to cloak our vulnerabilities in the armor of deceit? What insecurities are we masking with the facade of confidence and control? The journey through self-deception is arduous, fraught with the pain of discarded illusions and the disquiet of newfound clarity. Yet it is here, in the raw, unvarnished truth of our being, that we find the seeds of genuine growth. By recognizing the deceiver within, we begin to dismantle the machinery of self-sabotage, to rewrite the narratives that have held us captive in cycles of self-defeat. The ego, your most faithful companion and your fiercest adversary, constructing walls so high and corridors so convoluted, it's a wonder you've found your way through them for this long. In this domain, every turn can be a dead end, every echo a siren's call, luring you deeper into confusion. Yet navigate it we must, for at its center lies the key to our liberation. The ego, with its incessant demands for recognition, its insatiable appetite for affirmation, leads us into battles unwinnable and into desires unquenchable. It whispers tales of our greatness, drowning out the voices of reason, of humility, of empathy. It pushes us to the forefront, even when wisdom calls for reflection and learning. "Look at me," it cries, "for I am without equal." Such hubris, such folly. In this exploration, we dissect the ego, not with the intent of demolition, but for understanding and mastery. To navigate the labyrinth is to understand its architecture, recognizing the traps of vanity and the dead ends of pride. It requires a map drawn from introspection, a compass oriented by the true north of our core values and aspirations. You see, the ego, for all its bluster, is not an enemy but a misguided guardian of our psyche, attempting to protect us from the slings and arrows of an indifferent world. It armors us against the vulnerabilities of existence, but at the cost of isolation, of a distance from the very connections that make life meaningful. To master the ego is to recognize its patterns, to anticipate its flares of indignation and insecurity, and to gently but firmly guide it back to silence. This journey through the labyrinth is a process of peeling away the layers of self-importance, of confronting the fears that fuel our defensive grandeur. It's a venture into the heart of our being, where we must face the minotaur of our own making, our deepest insecurities and hidden weaknesses. Here in the darkness we learn that the monster is not to be slain but understood and embraced, transformed from foe to ally. As we chart this course, remember, the walls of the labyrinth are not prison bars, but mirrors, reflecting not just our flaws, but our potential for growth, for empathy, for genuine strength. The path out is marked not by triumph over the ego, but by reconciliation with it, by the recognition that true confidence is quiet, unassuming, and rooted in the reality of our shared human frailty. So, arm yourself with humility, for it is the weapon the ego cannot withstand. Prepare to confront not just the darkness, but the light that awaits on the other side of the labyrinth. This is not the end of your journey, but a pivotal turn, a transformation from the prisoner of ego to its master. Having navigated the treacherous turns of the ego's labyrinth, we now stand on the precipice of the dance of power and vulnerability. This dance is not one of opposition, but of intricate interplay, where the truest form of strength emerges not from dominance or invulnerability, but from the courage to be seen in our authentic frailty. Power, as you once understood it, wielded like a blunt instrument to forge your path, to command respect and enforce your will, now reveals its deeper essence. It is not the fortress walls we erect around our hearts, nor the loudness of our voice that dictates our true strength. Rather, it is in the quiet moments of openness, when we lay down our arms and shields, that we invite connections most profound, most transformative. Vulnerability, the counterpart to power in this dance, is often mistaken for weakness, a flaw to be exploited. Yet, herein lies the paradox. There is no greater power than in the admission of one's own vulnerability. To expose one's fears, doubts, and insecurities to the light of day is to disarm them, to rob them of their shadowy dominion over us. This journey is an invitation to embrace vulnerability, to understand it not as a liability, but as the wellspring of genuine power. It demands a radical re-evaluation of what it means to be strong. True strength is found not in the impenetrability of the facade we present to the world, but in the willingness to reveal the cracks, to show that we, too, are made of flesh and bone, subject to the same pains and hopes as any other. The dance between power and vulnerability is subtle, requiring a discerning heart and a keen eye. It asks that you step into the arena, not armed to the teeth, but open-handed, ready to connect, to empathize, and to grow. It challenges you to lead not by dictating, but by example, showing that the path to true influence and leadership is paved with the bricks of authenticity and human connection. As we delve into this dance, you will discover that the most powerful moments come when you least expect them, in the quiet confessions, in the shared tears, in the mutual acknowledgement of our shared human condition. With the delicate balance between power and vulnerability now etched into the fabric of our journey, we step into the crucible of transformation, the realm of the alchemy of transformation. Here, in this sacred space, the raw materials of our past selves, the fears, the failures, the facades, are subjected to the relentless fire of introspection and challenge, only to emerge transmuted into something purer, stronger, and infinitely more precious. This alchemy does not occur in the outer world, but within the hidden chambers of our soul, where the most profound changes take root in silence and darkness. It is here that we confront the dross of our being, the accumulated detritus of years spent running from our shadows, from the truths we dared not face. Yet face them we must, for in this confrontation lies the key to our transformation. The process of alchemy is ancient, mystical, yet deeply practical in its application to our lives. It demands of us a willingness to be broken down, to have our most cherished illusions stripped away, leaving us bare and exposed to the core. This breaking down is not a punishment, but a necessary dissolution, making way for the emergence of a new form, a new essence that is both a continuation of and a departure from what was. In the crucible of transformation, we learn that all change is born from the death of something old, a cycle of renewal that is as unyielding as time itself. The pain of this process is real, as is the fear of the unknown that accompanies each step into the void. Yet, it is in this very void that possibility resides. The potential for growth, for evolution, for the realization of a self that is both unimagined and intimately familiar. As you stand at the threshold of this alchemical process, understand that what awaits you is not a mere alteration, but a rebirth. The flames that seem to threaten your very existence are also the flames that will forge you, that will illuminate the depths of your courage, your resilience, and your capacity for love and compassion. Emerging reborn from the crucible of transformation, we now set our sights on mastering the strategy of anticipation. This realm is where foresight becomes our compass, guiding us through the tumultuous seas of human interaction and inner turmoil with the grace of a seasoned navigator. Anticipation in this context is not mere prediction, but a profound understanding of the patterns that govern behaviors, both our own and those of the world around us. To anticipate is to see not just the immediate, but the eventual. It is to understand the ripple effects of our actions, to foresee the unseen consequences of the words we speak and the silences we keep. This mastery demands a deep immersion into the nuances of human psychology, a keen awareness of the subtle cues that hint at larger undercurrents. But beware, for anticipation is a double-edged sword. Leaning too far into the future can detach us from the present, rendering us spectators in our own lives. The key lies in balance, in using our foresight to inform our present actions without becoming enslaved by our predictions. It is a dance between the now and the not yet, a delicate act of juggling the immediate with the inevitable. This journey into the strategy of anticipation challenges us to refine our intuition, to hone it into a tool as precise as it is intuitive. It involves a constant, dynamic interplay between instinct and analysis, between the gut feeling that something is amiss and the logical deduction of what that something might be. Here, we learn that true anticipation is not just about expecting challenges, but about preparing ourselves internally for whatever may come, equipping our psyche with the resilience to adapt and thrive in the face of uncertainty. Anticipation, in its highest form, is about creating a space where preparation meets opportunity. It's about cultivating a mindset that views change not as a threat, but as an invitation, a prompt to grow and evolve. This perspective allows us to navigate life's unpredictability with a sense of purpose and direction, turning potential obstacles into stepping stones on our path to fulfillment. As we delve deeper into the strategy of anticipation, remember, the future is not a distant foreign land, but the very ground we stand on, shaped moment by our choices and actions. To master anticipation is to become an architect of that future, to wield the power of foresight in crafting a reality that resonates with our deepest aspirations. So I invite you now to join me in this exploration, to sharpen your ability to anticipate not just the moves of others, but the evolution of your own journey. Are you ready to embrace the strategy of anticipation, to navigate the complexities of life with a newfound clarity and confidence? The path lies open before you, a testament to the power of foresight and the potential for growth it represents. With the compass of anticipation now firmly in our grasp, we venture into the shadowed yet enlightening domain of the art of psychological warfare. This is not a battlefield marked by physical confrontations, but a realm where the mind itself is both the weapon and the battleground. Here, we engage not with the blunt instruments of force, but with the scalpel of insight, cutting through the veils of deception and self-deception to reveal the raw truths of our nature and of the human condition itself. Psychological warfare, as we will come to understand it, is not about domination or subjugation, but about understanding and influence. It's about recognizing the power dynamics that underpin human interactions and learning to navigate these with finesse and integrity. This art form requires a deep empathy and an acute awareness of the psychological states of others as well as ourselves. It's about knowing when to push and when to yield, when to confront and when to withdraw. In this realm, our greatest adversaries are often the shadows within our own minds, the fears, insecurities, and unacknowledged desires that drive us to act in ways that undermine our integrity and authenticity. The battle, then, is not against an external enemy, but against the parts of ourselves that hold us back from true understanding and genuine connection. To master the art of psychological warfare is to become a student of the human heart, to explore the depths of human motivation and the complexities of our desires. It involves a meticulous study of the patterns that govern behavior, the triggers that propel us into action, and the defenses we erect to protect our vulnerabilities. Here we learn that the most effective strategies are those that align with our core values and those that seek not to exploit, but to empower, not to manipulate, but to liberate. This journey will challenge us to wield our insights responsibly, to recognize the immense power we hold, and to use it wisely and compassionately. It calls on us to be warriors of the light, using our understanding of psychology not to cast shadows, but to illuminate the darkness, not to control, but to enlighten and uplift. As we delve deeper into the art of psychological warfare, Let us remember, the ultimate victory is not one that leaves others diminished, but one that sees them and us transformed and elevated. It's about forging connections that transcend the superficial, building bridges where walls once stood, and fostering an environment where the mind is not a battlefield, but a meeting ground for the exchange of ideas and the celebration of shared humanity. Having traversed the intricate terrains of psychological understanding and warfare, we now ascend to the pinnacle of our journey, the path to mastery. This is not the end, but rather a new beginning, a perpetual cycle of learning, growth, and transcendence. Mastery in this realm is not a destination, but a continuous journey. A relentless pursuit of excellence, not only in understanding the minds of others, but more importantly, in comprehending the depths of our own psyche. The path to mastery requires an unwavering commitment to self-awareness and personal development. It calls for a dedication to dissecting our actions, motivations, and reactions with surgical precision to uncover the underlying patterns that shape our existence. Mastery demands not only intellectual understanding, but emotional intelligence, the ability to navigate the complexities of our emotions and those of the people around us with empathy, grace, and insight. In this pursuit, every interaction becomes a lesson, every challenge a test of our resolve and capabilities. The true master understands that there is no finality in mastery, only the next level of understanding, the next frontier of exploration. It is an eternal student's path, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a boundless desire to push the boundaries of what is known, to venture into the uncharted territories of the mind and the heart. To walk the path to mastery is to embrace humility, to acknowledge that no matter how much we know, there is always more to learn. It is to recognize that our greatest teacher is often our last mistake, our most recent failure. Mastery involves a paradoxical blend of confidence and vulnerability, the confidence to lead and teach, and the vulnerability to admit when we do not know, to seek guidance, and to learn from those around us, regardless of their status or station. This journey is marked by moments of profound isolation and breathtaking connection, of intense frustration and exhilarating breakthroughs. It is a path that demands resilience, for it is fraught with obstacles and setbacks that test our commitment to our purpose. Yet, it is these very challenges that forge in us the strength and wisdom necessary to ascend to new heights of understanding and influence.